Hello everybody, welcome to this new video. The B-roll and the photos you just saw were from Flavorama, a huge hip-hop battle event here in my town, and I was there with a couple of friends to enjoy the vibes, the music, and of course the dance, and, you know, to get some shots. My setup for that evening was exactly the setup right here, the Lumix GX80 and the Panasonic 20mm f1.7 prime lens. And speaking of prime lenses, that's actually partially today's topic. In this video I'm going to present the advantages, disadvantages and main differences of zoom lenses and prime lenses to you. So if you're still in the decision-making process of what lens to buy next or what lens to buy first, or you just want to inform yourself a little more on this topic, this video is the right place to be. So I suggest let's get going and let's start with the advantages for zoom lenses. The first perk is the most obvious one. You are extremely flexible with zoom lenses. This gives you the capability of switching from a wide shot such as 24mm into a medium telephoto shot such as 70mm in like no time. I mean, it's like that's it. Anyway, apart from the extreme flexibility you have with zoom lenses, another advantage is actually the size and weight. Although admittedly, I have to say this can be a disadvantage as well, but just keep listening. So the point I'm trying to make is that instead of carrying around a bunch of prime lenses in your bag, which will take up a lot of space and probably get quite heavy after a while, you can just carry around one zoom lens with all those focal lengths in one packet. The reason why I said this could be a disadvantage is because zoom lenses are usually actually quite a bit heavier than primes, so it actually really depends on your situation on how many primes you take. So if you're only taking two primes, let's say a 35 and a 70, and they are both lightweight, they might even together be lighter than a 24 to 70 because, you know, those huge bulky things from Canon, those are really heavy, and I don't know how much sense this argument will then make. So yeah, but instead of carrying around, let's say 5 prime lenses, it will still make sense to carry around only one zoom lens. And coming to the last point, which speaks for zoom lenses, I think zoom lenses are well suited for beginners. Some people will disagree with me at this point because a lot of people say this results in lazy photographers because beginners start zooming around instead of moving around, and a lack of creativity. But I think for a beginner, this flexibility you get with a zoom lens can be very beneficial. For a beginner, you're only trying to get into this, so you shouldn't make the thing way too challenging from the beginning. You should like start out with a zoom lens, which is easy, and you can get to learn the rules of photography and just how photography works and what looks good, and then later invest your money into further and better lenses. That is probably also the reason why most cameras sell their cameras with a kit lens, which is a zoom lens. At least I've never seen a camera which has a kit lens which was a prime. That's enough of the good things about zoom lenses, let's get to some negatives. The first disadvantage you'll get with zoom lenses is a lack of sharpness. Many zoom lenses appear softer than primes because of the bigger amount of glass they have between the subject and the sensor. But of course you can get zoom lenses which are really sharp, for which this disadvantage will not really count, but those are accordingly expensive, and I mean like really expensive. A similar disadvantage zoom lenses bring along the minimum aperture, because they usually have a higher minimum aperture than primes. The cheapest zoom lenses usually only go down to about f3.5, whereas a cheap 50mm prime would go down to f1.8, which therefore results in way better low-light performance and a much shallower depth of field. Good zoom lenses can go down to f2.8, but it's like the sharpness. To get that extra quality, you're gonna need some money to spend. So, enough zooming around, let's get to the primes. Guys, I've got a small problem right now because my mom's doing something in the bathroom right now, and I'm still kind of uncomfortable talking into a camera when I know other people could be listening, so... You know, golden hour's coming out, so why don't we go out and continue this outside, because it's way too awkward for me. Oh, come on. Of course, just like life goes, in my life at least, it's always like this. I tidy everything up, I've got my tripod back into small mode to carry it down to the forest where we can carry on outside, and what do I hear? My mom has finished with whatever she has been doing the last 40 minutes. I actually waited for like half an hour or so for that to stop. Didn't, so I thought let's go out and film that clip you just saw. And now she's gone, but now I would have gone, but I think I'll stay here if she's gone now, because, I don't know, I don't want to go out. So let's get this whole thing built. I think I just heard my mom come up again now. Let's go out. Hey, what's up? Well, no, that just made my video quite unprofessional, and it's not way better now. I'm somewhere in the middle of a forest, just because I don't want to be interrupted, and I got to lean over like this so that I'm in frame. But anyway, let's get on with lenses. So we were talking about zoom lenses, but enough of those, let's get to the prime lenses. And their main advantages actually come hand in hand with the disadvantages of the zoom lenses, because as I said, the zooms are not really the sharpest lenses. Primes are the opposite, they are pretty dang sharp, and it's the same with the aperture. They go down to, as I said, 1.8 or something. They don't stop at 3.5 or 2.8, such as the good zoom lenses. They go down quite far. That's what primes are actually for. So if you like to take photos with super shallow depth of field, or you like to take photos at night and you need a wide aperture for more light, primes are perfect. But of course, the primes have one obvious disadvantage, and that's, well, that they're not zooms. So you're restricted to exactly one focal length. I might have found a better spot now, and I'm not blended by the light in my face, only my shoulder. That cat I just showed you a second ago, it's kind of creeping up at me. It kind of came with me the whole way from back there. But anyway, I better get on with this. Seriously? I say get on with this, and then the plane comes? I came out here because I thought it's going to be quiet. So, plane has passed, now let's get on with this. So the main disadvantage I just told you is the restriction, and that is actually a huge disadvantage because you're going to have to buy a variety. Yeah? Hello? Hello? Guys, how many things can actually interrupt me when making this video? I think this video is going to be more about things interrupting me making this video than the actual topic, the lenses. So, where was I? Prime lenses. Anyway, let's keep it short because I don't think this is going to become any better. Anyway, just remember, prime lenses, good for low light and shallow depth of field, but you're really restricted because you only have one focal length. And the other thing is that this huge disadvantage led to me, and probably you as well, thinking way too much, or at least quite a lot, about what lens to buy, or when you're buying your first camera, what lens to buy with it, and I hope this could somehow help you out. But if you are still very undecisive, there are two factors you need to think about which might influence your choice. The first factor is, what do you photograph? Because you need to think, if you're a portrait photographer, for example, you don't really need to be able to zoom around all the time because you're not capturing things that move around really quickly, or you don't need lots of different focal lengths. You can just pick one focal length, like an 85mm or something, and you can direct the model as long as you want, or as long as your session is. And you don't really need a zoom lens. But let's say if you're a travel and lifestyle photographer and you're trying to capture a moment while traveling on the go, and you're trying to be quick, you don't want to take too much time because you're on the go, well, you're going to want a zoom lens, right? The second factor is how much money you want to invest into your lens. Because if you want to buy a good zoom lens, like an actually good zoom lens with f2.8 fixed aperture when you zoom out, that's going to cost you a ton of money. You can get quite versatile and really good quality with buying two primes, for example, so you just got to prioritize what you want. After thoroughly going through all the advantages and disadvantages and thinking about each factors, then you might have finally made your choice, or at least narrowed down your choice. At least I hope so. But here's just a quick warning for you. You're probably going to end up with both a zoom lens and a prime lens. Take me as an example. I started out with a zoom lens, but I couldn't resist to get this prime lens, and I'm thinking of getting another one. So yeah, just a warning, you're probably going to end up with both anyway. But if you're in the situation that you don't have a camera yet, but you know which camera you're going to buy, but you don't know which lens to go with, if you want to have the kit lens, a prime lens, or just a different zoom lens, you just don't know yet, I hope this video could at least help you a little bit. Even though there were quite a few interruptions, and I don't know how long this video is going to become, but yeah, anyway, I hope you found some valuable information in this video. If so, then leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this with less interruptions, what was that? Huge bugs. If you want to see more content like this with less interruptions is what I wanted to say, then feel free to subscribe. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. I hope this video hasn't become 20 minutes long.